Hey friends, today I'm here to talk with you about my favorite vest for the winter. It's one that I had shared in a layering video I did with my Schott Perfecto and got some questions and comments about it. And one that I think, if you're into leather jackets, it's kind of an awesome thing to get. It's this Freewheelers winter Aviator vest. The model I got has a hood on it, but there are many different slight variations between materials they're made of and whether they have the hood or not, along with the colors. So they all kind of fall into a class, in my mind, of vests that are good for winter that can be used over a jacket. And I think that if you really like having jackets that you have spent some time collecting and that you want to wear more of, but you find that you can't get as much wear during those colder months, this kind of vest is something that you can get to get more use out of your jackets during those colder months. So to give you kind of a brief overview of what to expect if you're looking at this, I'm going to run through those features just real briefly. If you're not familiar with the Freewheelers brand, they're out of Japan. They are one of, if not the highest level of craftsmanship and quality when it comes to Japanese reproduction brands. They really take these older vintage items and recreate them down to the minute details. It's kind of impressive, very impressive. And so they make leather jackets, they make all types of garments, t-shirts, pants, jeans, all in the style of things from previous decades. So they do have workwear, military wear, street style, camping equipment, tweedy jackets. So they have a very wide range of things that they produce in very small quantities to the highest standards. When we're talking about these vests, they are in their kind of military repro style range. This particular one that I got is in a jungle cloth, which I'll bring closer to show you. The texture on it, it looks sort of like how corduroy has raised ridges, but this is not fuzzy feeling in the way that corduroy is. Jungle cloth is just known for toughness and durability and is often found in heavy-duty military items, especially a favorite of the repro crew. And so the exterior is this heavyweight jungle cloth. I believe this one has been slightly impregnated with paraffin for water resistance. The interior of the vest is this extremely cozy alpaca wool blend. You can just feel the coziness looking at it. And due to the nature of the blend, it is both warm and soft, very mild on the is this wool itchy scale. Not that itchy, and not something that really bothers me in general, but I've had friends that don't like to wear wool items that this was fine for them. The vest, this model has a hood like I mentioned. Some of them essentially take the hood off and it would be more or less the same model. It comes with both a zipper and buttons. It has these big pockets. I've put gloves inside the bigger bottom pockets, and I will be honest, I have yet to use this pocket on top. I had a little bit of trouble getting it open and shut, so I just let it be. I think it looks good and brings balance to the design, but it seems a little less practical than the others. Perhaps I just need to break it in. Some things that you wouldn't immediately notice about this vest, perhaps. It has interior pocket right here. It surprised me when I saw this pocket here. I did not know it had this pocket when I bought it, and I wore it several times before I noticed it, but it's actually quite roomy, as you can see here on the interior. And then there is an even larger pocket here on the back, ta-da, which goes all the way in here. Now, something that I can show you now I've unzipped it. In the interior of this, there is a kind of soft moleskin cotton, which forms the interior lining between this exterior tough jungle cloth fabric and the cozy wool layer. There is moleskin in there. So how does this vest wear? First off, I would say, let's talk sizing. I got a size 40 in this vest. That is my typical size that I get in almost everything. It's what I would consider my true size. I have just over a 40-inch chest. It fluctuates between 40 and 41 inches depending on how much I've been exercising. And with just a t-shirt, which is not how I would anticipate wearing this vest most of the time, it fits comfortably and is very slightly large on me, I would say. So let's get the look as a base. All right, this is it open. This is how it wears zipped. I find I often don't do all the buttons up if I am doing them. I'll do one or maybe two. So there's room here, which is perfect because we got this vest to wear over our jackets. But with the general size and the structure of the fabric, I feel that it still wears well like this, even if it's not perhaps the primary mode of wearing this vest. So we'll take it off. And there we go. I would say also from a practicality standpoint, these pockets are not really for your hands. If you're putting your hands in these pockets, it's not the most comfortable. I've seen more T-Rex looking pockets that are even harder to get into, but these kind of do create it's a little uncomfortable. It can be done. I feel more like these are cargo or storage pockets. So get some gloves and put them in there and use them if your hands are cold, for example. So this is the base. Now we're going to move into a segment where I will wear a variety of different jackets with this vest so you can get an idea of just the versatility of it. I'll be putting some combinations together here that I have not actually worn it with, so I'll be curious about how it turns out. And I would be curious about your take on how these come. So, all right, y'all, here's the first look. I'm wearing the vest with a Schott Perfecto 618, the classic style. You can see that it fits perfectly over top the jacket. This is the look I had in mind when I bought this vest. I've worn it this way, and it's quite comfortable over top. Basically, because you have the vest without any kind of arm involvement, you have the same freedom of motion you would have just wearing the jacket or close to it, but a lot more warmth over the core. And just to show something that comes to mind sometimes looking, especially where these pockets have a little bit of extension out here at the bottom, the vest looks more trim when worn than it does if you just get a straight on shot. So it's the kind of thing that can look a little bulky, but not as bulky as those straight on shots kind of create this false appearance of width at the bottom. To see it while worn open. Ta-da! Also, very easy. Ba-boom. I haven't actually worn the hood up in this yet, so here's a quick shot. Whew. That's toasty. Oh man. All right, we're going on to the next one. Here we are wearing my Langlitz Timberline. This is what you could expect from a straight zip or single rider style jacket as opposed to the Crosszip Schott 618 I just wore. You may be wondering, why is this video for winter layers coming out in the middle of the summer? And you know, it's just because I miss it. I miss being able to layer like this. So this is just a little bit of something to keep us going while we wait for that jacket wearing weather to come back. All right, on to the next one. For those folks interested in seeing brown leather along with this vest, the next two will be brown options. This is a Crosszip jacket that I got from Johnson Leathers. It's kind of a straightforward jacket. just letting the hide show itself. You can see there the Crosszip zone. This, by the way, is a jacket that I do wear in the winter because of layering possibilities underneath it. What we're seeing now is a repro item, this vest, which is styled to be from the 40s and 50s, combined with an actual item from the period. This vintage jacket, it's a Sears Hercules horsehide jacket. My best information dates it from the early 50s, so in that post-war era. And you can kind of see, I feel like this color combination really works really beautifully together. It is not a military style jacket, however. This is a more civilian style, what they call a half-belt. If you are into vintage flight jackets, A2s and A1s, at least with the sleeves, you can kind of get an idea of how it would go together in some ways with a vintage wear jacket. I have not actually worn these together, so this is a world first. You saw it right here. I do think it actually looks pretty good together though. All right, so that's it for the leather jackets. We're going to show a few textile jackets next, and I'm curious about your take on these because I haven't combined a bunch of these together either. Here we go with the first of these textile jackets, the enduring Type 3 denim jacket. Here we go, the trucker. You know, the trucker was the first jacket that I really bought when I started getting into jackets in recent years. It was kind of the opening of the rabbit hole, so to speak. And for good reason. Type 3 is awesome. Type 2 is awesome. Type 1 is awesome. It's hard to beat a denim jacket, especially when it's been worn and beaten in. This is a heavy one from Bravestar, 21.5 ounce denim. Took a while to break in. But these work well together in my mind. For our second textile jacket, we have gone with the A2 deck jacket. This, by the way, is one of the warmest combinations that I have to wear when it comes to these kind of garments. So my heart is racing here. This A2 jacket is a warm jacket. It's got the hidden cuffs here in to keep the warmth in. It's lined with a wool mix all throughout. And of course with this vest on top, it's a very cozy fit. I think that the green on green may not work for everybody, but just remember you can get these in different colors. I think that the tones are different enough. You could really probably get away with this and be happy with it. To see it open, this deck jacket is actually slightly large to fit underneath the vest, but because everything is flexible, it works easily enough. You can see little details here. You got pockets. And this configuration, this is a vintage one. So if you're looking to stay warm and going for like a real military fatigue style look, you know, you could really go ham with this kind of setup. You could even get military trousers instead. Let's take this off. It's hot in here. All right, y'all. Last but not least, the hoodie. Hoodie with the hooded vest. So if you're feeling very hoodie, go for it. I think that this is one of those jumps from old styles that we have to a more casual, modern, street style fashion. The hoodie's ubiquitous. I think everyone has one in their closet. So would this vest go with a hoodie? You may be asking yourself. I think the answer is yes, very easily. This is a universal vest, guys. It goes with basically every other jacket. So what happens if you do put both hoods up? What happens if you fully put the hood up? Well, you just get a little bit of layering going on, right? You just look like you're super cozy. You're the happiest. Whoa! dude in all the world. Now, this is something that we see when we go all the way up, is that this actually manages to cover your mouth. Oh my God. Oh, God. Where's the voice? So, I think we've learned the lesson. We only button all the way up in emergencies. Perhaps double hood all the way up is not for everyone. I don't think it's for me. But if it was cold out, you could keep almost your entire face quite cozy doing that. So let's undo this thing and see what it looks like. It looks good. 3 cheers for the vest. So we've looked at a bunch of different styles here. The vest has really handled each one of them, I think, with aplomb. And I think it just underscores that this kind of item, which has that retro feel, can really match with a lot of different other styles. Even if you may at first think it's kind of over the top or whatever. Yeah, sure it is. It is over the top. It's a statement piece. It's a mega vest. But it's one at least that you can buy and be confident you'll actually get to use instead of just something that hangs up in the closet and doesn't really go with other things. I'm curious about your thoughts on the Freewheelers Aviator vest. If you have one or have considered buying one, what did you like about it? What were your hang-ups? And hit me up down below. Have a good one, y'all.